Hi everyone! Today we are going to color this page from the book Beyond Mandalas. My page is a tad smaller because I printed it at home and because I'm saving the original for a color along video that I am planning to do in the future. So, in today's video, we will give you some ideas on how to color black velvet pages with alcohol markers. For the first two examples, we are going to use only 1 and 3 markers. And for the third, all of these. How can we use alcohol markers on black background and white lines pages, aka black velvet pages? The easiest way is to use one color per element. So let's grab one marker. By the way, I am using Ohuhu Honolulu markers. They are dual tip and come with a brush tip, that is the one we are going to use in the first two examples, and a fine tip that we are going to use for the third example, because it is more useful for intricate coloring. So, the brush tip. This is the R11 Mauve Shadow, and let's simply color the entire umbrella without worrying about going outside the lines. As you see, a black background is fantastic for getting perfectly colored lines. We could paint each umbrella a different color and consider the illustration done. Or we can use alcohol markers for the base color and combine them with gel pens. We talked about gel pens in the previous video, so I will do a really quick example, okay? Let's color the droplets with these purple, mauve, lilac, violet, lavender color. There are too many names for similar colors. Remember that when using opaque or semi-opaque mediums, we can color over any area we want to, no matter if it is black or white. Okay, next example. This time we will blend two colors. We will use the salmon pink. I will leave the cap here so you can see the colors I'm using. And we are going to use the mauve shadow we used before. Do you see them here? Let me check. Nope, you don't. Here you see them. So, there are a few different ways to blend alcohol markers. If you're interested in learning more, drop us a comment. In this case, we can start with any of these two, this one for example, because since they are similar in value, it will be really easy to blend them together. Two colors are easier to blend than three or more, but since this is still wet, let's add another one. This is called lavender. I am always joking about the names brands choose for their colors, but I think in this case I actually have to thank them. Well, thank you, Ohuhu, but don't get used to it, okay? Well, that was easy. And it will look fantastic once it dries. You can repeat this process for the rest of the umbrellas. Before jumping into the last example, let's cover the markers. We don't want them to dry out. Ready for more? Here we have the markers we are going to use now. Don't worry, I will keep the caps visible for you to follow along if you want to. Let's start with this one. Instead of the brush tip, we will use the fine tip because it allows us to make thinner lines easier than the other. If I place this close to the page, you see it, right? Let me check it out. Yes, you see it. Well, the tricky part when using alcohol markers for coloring white lines is the spot where the line intersects with all the lines that we want to color differently. The trick is, well, the tricks are the following. 1. Apply light pressure at least near the intersections. Black background is our friend, a forgiving friend. But intersections are not. 2. Don't go over the same line if it is still wet. Again, you can do this when surrounded by black, but not by white. 3. Let it dry before applying a different color close to an intersection, unless you want them to blend into each other. 4. For short lines, instead of coloring in the direction of the line, try to go perpendicular. 5. Don't worry if intersections don't look perfect. You'll get the hang of it. 6. Don't worry if intersections don't look perfect. They are very small. You almost need a magnifying glass to see those imperfections. 7. Did I already say don't worry if intersections don't look perfect? Okay, if this still worries you, I got your back. You just need really thin fine tip markers. Something like this. These are also dual tip markers, but in this case they are water-based. Let me get the ones we are going to use for this example. A practical person was in charge of naming this set. No time was spent waffling over the perfect name. This person just put them in order and numbered them. For example, this blue got the 81. Now I'm curious to know, do you prefer names or numbers for your colors? Since I can't hear you, let me know in comments. Well, we have two tips too. We are going to use the fine liner tip because it is more or less the same width of the line. See how thin this is? So, now we just have to go over the line, as if we were tracing the illustration. Try not to go over the same area many times because we will break up the fibers of the paper and end up with a hole. Well, don't do it unless you have alcohol fine tip markers instead of water-based. Since this is as easy as you see, I will just leave all the links to the markers I've used in the description and finish this umbrella in silence. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!